Hey everyone, welcome to KTAL News Now. I'm your host Anthony Mocklin, and today is Monday. It is the start of a brand new week. I hope y'all had a great weekend. Today we'll be recapping some of the events that took place over the weekend, as well as several celebrations that have been happening in our area. One of the premier things about our community is its large and fast-growing film community, which runs super strong and deep, and it is home to the Louisiana Film Prize, which is not only platforms the people who create art and through film in our community, but it is also home to the largest cash prize for a short film in the world. The prize is $50,000 awarded to a local short film each and every year. And it is such an accomplishment to be even a finalist for it. And the Louisiana Film Prize announced their top 20 finalists last week. And they had their ceremony at Noble Savage downtown in Shreveport. And KTAL's Dan Jovic has more on the announcement and who the finalists are.
So who's ready to open some envelopes and find out the top 20?
Films will compete for the world's largest cash prize for a short film, $50,000 at Prize Fest 2025. Prize Fest's executive director says this year's lineup will feature more quality films than ever before because in addition to the cash, something major is being offered.
Filmmakers from all over the country come here because this is a great community to be in. And as a community member, you need to be down at Film Prize because one, it's a blast, and two, you are awarding the world's largest cash prize for a short film. And this year, we'll be awarding the winner of Film Prize the ability to be qualified for an Oscar award.
Wow, it's pretty impressive. Winner will be announced during Prize Fest 2025, happening October 15th through the 19th.
And like I was saying, it's great that they are being recognized for their talents and their creations that are on full display that can be viewed at Prize Fest in October, as Dan said. And that is even just being a finalist, even if they don't win, being named a top 20 finalist to Film Prize is something that directors, producers, actors can take with them forever, essentially. They'll always have that to remember. And that is the same case for the Huntington Lady Raiders, who just had their ring ceremony for their first ever state basketball championship. And KTAL's Sam Brunsman has more about their celebration.
Back in March, the Huntington Lady Raiders made school history after defeating Woodlawn Baton Rouge 61-51 to win its first ever state basketball championship. Today, the Lady Raiders held its ring ceremony to celebrate its incredible season.
Oh man, this is a big deal for me. It's history. We just made history, and this is not just for the girls' basketball program or the boys' basketball program or just Huntington. It's for this community, the west side of Shreveport. I feel like it's a big accomplishment for this area and something that we need to rejuvenate and help our kids understand that we can achieve greatness as well.
Been very special, this was a moment we've been waiting for, to know just like everybody proud of us, and we just grateful for the moment and happy to be the champs.
And another sports-related story that has made huge headlines in the community recently is the deliberation of a proposed $10 million pickleball facility in Shreveport. The Caddo Parish Commission held a meeting where opponents and those for the proposal both said their piece on, why each side is right and why it should or should not be passed or created. And, like I said, both sides are heating up in the debate in regards to it, and they're citing the cost of it, the $10 million cost of the proposal, as the biggest obstacle in getting that passed, whereas people who are for the proposal are arguing that it would be a great investment in terms of the economics of the region as they look to host national pickleball tournaments there, specifically bringing people from all over the country to compete. But Alexandra Meacham of KTAL has more and shares what people had to say.
Less than a week and a half ago, we had a drive-by shooting a quarter of a mile the other way. So, and I've been here through every bit of it. I've heard everything every one of you have had to say. And I think, great, fantastic, But does it have to cost $10 million? Because I'm like the lady in red. You take $10 million and you spread it throughout the city, you guys can really do something.
The parish proposal is to build a 19-court pickleball park on East Flournoy Lucas in southeast Shreveport, using the land behind Kroger and the Lash Family YMCA.
Both of us are very excited about this project and what it could mean for our community and personal lives. My whole life, my hometown has been a pass-through city. It has been unknown to non-locals and also a place the majority of my peers could not wait to leave behind. Now I'm surrounded daily by friends and clients of all ages, a great many of whom are pickleball fanatics who chose to stay in or return to Shreveport because it's home, but that doesn't mean the city should stay stagnant.
The proposed facility would cost $10 million using revenue bonds from the parish of Caddo.
The revenue generated from the pickleball court is going to pay that bond back. Our biggest concern is, has there been enough thought going into this about it being just a pickleball court?
The park would include shaded structures with picnic areas, pavilions, a walking trail, seating up to 50 people to host championship-style events for national and regional tournaments to boost tourism.
I think it will be great for sports tourism. And like someone mentioned before, it's one of the fastest growing tourism areas.
Many residents say it costs too much when too much of the parish is in desperate need of investment support.
So I stand in opposition of $10 million as to what else you can do with $10 million.
And that proposal will head back to the Commission's next work session on August 18th, so a week from today. Be sure to stick with us on KTAL News Now, where we will be giving you updates on everything, and you can also find the full details of the proposal on our website at ktalnews.com. But in terms of other related sports news, specifically in football, there was a bunch of preseason games that happened this weekend, all the way from Thursday to Sunday. So there's plenty of NFL action going on. I know it's the preseason, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot right now. But, it's good to see people who are rookies or veteran guys who haven't really gotten a shot get their chance to prove themselves and shine and try to make that opening day roster. And one of those games featured the Cowboys, where they took on the Rams. They unfortunately lost 31-21. But quarterback Joe Milton III started for the Cowboys, and he is originally he played college at Tennessee, and he was traded to the Cowboys by the Patriots, and he did so after having an insane Week 18 last year to close out the season for the Patriots, where he completed 75% of his passes on his way to 241 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, which is a incredible game. I know it was the last game of the season. Not everybody's starters were in, but still, to do that at an NFL level, playing against NFL rosters, whether it's second or third string, is no easy thing to do. And he's been generating a lot of buzz at training camp, and he showcased his cannon of an arm on Saturday. But unfortunately, he only completed about 58% of his passes on his way to 143 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. So he had a pretty decent showing. He showed off his arm talent, but he definitely needs to get that accuracy a little bit up to hopefully, I think he will end up being the backup for Dallas, but, he could make a name for himself and get traded somewhere else to start for another team eventually, because Dallas just, signed Dak Prescott to absolute mega deal, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I find it hard to see Dak giving up playing time for, any backup at this moment. But the rushing game was really good. They were averaging 5.5 yards per carry on the ground, where running back Malik Davis ran for 7 times for 63 yards, and he was an undrafted free agent from Florida, and he's been signed and re-signed by Dallas for years, for the last, 2 or 3 years. They just can't seem to quit this guy. They just want to give him that chance, and he definitely had a pretty good showing on Saturday. And their rookie running back, Phil Maffa, from Clemson. He ran 10 times for 36 yards, and there were a few flags in the game that came at very inopportune times where he could have had more yards, but the play got called back. So we could have had an even better showing, but like I said, the ground game was working really well. The defense, on the other hand, was a different story. In the first and fourth quarters, they gave up a combined 28 points, but in the second and third quarters, they only gave up 3 points combined. So not sure what happened at the beginning of the end, but in the middle of the game, they really hammered home and just locked down the offense. So it was a up and down showing for the defense. Not really sure what to make of it. They just need to stay consistent throughout the whole game instead of turning up in the middle of the game. So, but other than that, it was a pretty decent showing all around for the offense, and then, like I said, the defense could use a lot of work. But, then one of the other games that happened yesterday for our Saints fans out there, they ended up playing the Chargers, and that was a pretty bad showing all around. They ended up losing to the Chargers 27-13, and quarterback Spencer Rattler started the game. He was the Saints' 5th-round pick back in 2024, and he was originally at Oklahoma, but then ended up transferring to South Carolina, and he ended up playing 5 possessions in the first half. He played all but 1 possession in the first half, and he completed 7 of 11 passes for 53 yards, and he ended up running for 22 yards on the ground. And then they turned to rookie Tyler Shuck, who was their 2nd-round pick out of Oregon and also Texas Tech and Louisville. He kind of bounced around for a while, dealing with a bunch of injuries, so he was pretty criticized at the time of their draft pick because of his age and the injuries that forced him to have more years of eligibility in college. So he's actually older than Spencer Rattler, despite being picked this past offseason. So he ended up playing okay. He completed like 15 of his 22 passes for 165 yards. He actually ended up leading the Saints to a field goal drive in a 2-minute offense at the end of the first half. And he did end up throwing a pick 6 at one point in the game, but then he immediately followed that up with a 54-yard touchdown to Mason Lipton on the very next possession. So it's a great sign to see, just him respond and just put that in the back of his mind, just forget it, and just focus on the next play. So that was good to see out of him. The ground game was not really anything, as Kendre Miller, the running back, the third-year running back out of TCU, only ran for 15 yards on 6 carries, which is just not pretty in terms of the running game. They just couldn't get anything working on the ground. And then through the air and in the receivers, Velus Jones Jr., who is a veteran who bounced around from Chicago to Carolina. He actually led the team in receptions with 4 catches for 16 yards. So, I mean, it was a pretty ugly showing all around for the team. But again, it's preseason. It's not indicative of the regular season, even though that there's not a lot of optimism for Saints fans this year. A lot of people want them to tank for either Garrett Nussmeier at LSU or Arch Manning from Texas. But I'm not really sure where they'll end up in the draft. I don't expect them to win a lot of games this year. So they'll probably end up with a pretty decent draft pick in like the top 10 at the minimum, I'd say. But yeah, it's just not a fun time to be a Saints fan right now. There's not a lot of hope for the team this year and I guess the near future until they can sort of rebuild that roster and just see what they can make of that. But that's about all I have today. You can catch all of our previous episodes on our YouTube at KTAL News, and you can also catch our live stream of KTAL News Now every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m., and you can find us on KTALnews.com for all of your local breaking and trending news. Like I said, we stream every day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. on KTAL News Now. But for now, I'm Anthony Mocklin. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stick with us the rest of this week, especially tomorrow for another jam-packed episode of Tech Tuesday. and then followed by a Wellness Wednesday, and then we'll look ahead to the weekend on Thursday and Friday. But for now, I'm Anthony Mocklin. Have a great day, and thank you for joining us.